Welcome back to another deep dive on The Explainer. I am absolutely pumped to have you here today because we are looking at something that is fundamentally rewiring how live visual artists work. So let's jump right in. On April 28, 2026, Anthropic did something massive. They shipped MCP connectors specifically for Resolume and Blender. And what that actually means is you can now literally just talk to your VJ software in plain English. But before we geek out over the shiny new tech, let's ground ourselves in reality for a second. I want you to picture this. It's 11:47 p.m., the club is loud, the haze machine is running on full blast, and you are staring at a completely messy VJ booth in full panic mode. You've got tangled XLR cables draped across a scratched road case, there's a sweating energy drink teetering on the edge of the table, and you are frantically scrolling through a broken 200-clip composition in Resolume Arena with those terrifying red missing link icons everywhere. The show starts in exactly 13 minutes. Your knuckles are white on your MIDI controller. I mean, come on, we've all been there, right? So what if, instead of manually hunting down every single broken file path and wrestling with bad codecs while the clock is just aggressively ticking down, what if you could just talk to your software to fix the mess? Imagine typing a single plain English sentence, something like, "Audit this comp and fix it," and literally watching the chaos organize itself in fast motion while you just sit back, relax, and finish your drink. Sounds like absolute magic. But the crazy thing? It's not. It's here. Okay, Section 1, the VJ's new Copilot. These new tools are basically designed to automate all the boring, grueling prep work. Now, to be clear, they do not replace the artist on stage. You are still the one driving the live show. But your AI Copilot is now there to handle all the tedious heavy lifting in the background. So what's actually happening under the hood here? Well, MCP connectors are really just a bridge. They utilize Resolume's existing web API and Blender's Python toolkit. You know, that tech was actually already there. But the real game changer is that you no longer need to know how to write code to use it. The MCP connector lets the Claude AI talk directly to these programs. You just describe what you want in everyday language, and Claude translates that into the highly specific commands that Resolume or Blender needs to build, audit, and create your setups. And look, if you're sitting there worried about some ridiculously complex installation process, don't be. It takes literally 30 seconds to connect your AI Copilot. Seriously. You just update Resolume to version 726 or higher, go into your preferences and turn on the web server, install the Claude the desktop app, and then just double-click the MCPB file that's hanging out in your Resolume folder. Boom, that's the whole show. You are instantly connected and ready to go. Moving right along to Section 2, fixing the pre-show chaos. Let's look at the actual real-world utility of taming your messy clip library. Because, yeah, making cool art is fun, but organizing it is what actually saves your sanity on a gig. If you have ever had a massive visual set start stuttering mid-show because some guest DJ handed you a horribly encoded MP4 file right before their set, you're gonna love this. There is a real prompt you can use right now, affectionately known in the community as the codec janitor. You literally just ask Claude to find anything in the comp that isn't the optimized DXV3 format. It does all the hunting for you, ensuring your gig runs flawlessly. Just think about the sheer amount of time we are saving here. The agonizing old method of building, say a 12-track setlist deck, meant you had to spend maybe 3 hours manually dragging and dropping clips, painstakingly assigning columns for main loops and transitions, and manually typing out text layers for track titles. It's brutal. Versus today, 60 seconds of plain English typing. You just give Claude the track list and the BPMs, tell it exactly how you want your columns organized, and let the AI instantly build this pristine, perfectly organized deck for you. All right, Section 3, coding shaders with plain English. Okay, this is where things get completely wild. We are stepping out of Arena and into Resolvium Wire. Now, Wire is this incredible node-based patching tool for building your own custom effects and shaders. But traditionally, you had to learn complex math, topology, and GLSL coding just to use it effectively. Well, that barrier to entry, it has completely collapsed. Just imagine dropping in a wild prompt like, make a shader where the screen looks folded into 4D space, a tesseract projection of the incoming video. Try anyway. The point here isn't just that Claude actually knows the math for a 4-dimensional tesseract, which, let's be honest, is totally mind-blowing on its own. The real point is that you are now allowed to ask for the absolute impossible. You don't need to know a single underlying equation, you just have to ask. You can literally summon an entire arsenal of mind-bending generative patches into existence with just one sentence. Want your incoming video to turn into liquid mercury that violently ripples whenever the bass hits? Done. How about Conway's Game of Life, mathematically evolving in real time right on top of a live camera feed? Easy, done. Or maybe an old, dying CRT TV glitch that rolls specifically when the high frequencies spike? Done. Every single one of these used to take a solid week of coding and staring blankly at YouTube tutorials. Now, they take about 15 seconds to prompt.
Section 4. The Multi-App Automation Pipeline.
We are reaching the absolute climax of this explainer right here, because what we've covered so far is amazing for just one application. But what happens when you start chaining different software together? This is the multi-app combo pipeline, and it is something literally nobody had access to before. This is what we call the master combo prompt. With one single chat window, you are now orchestrating 3 entirely different professional skill sets. You are telling Blender to generate 3D scenes, telling Comfy UI to heavily stylize them with AI generation, and then telling Resolume to automatically ingest those final files into live decks and wire up custom effects to match.
Seriously, watching this execute is like a synchronized bank heist sequence. Step 1. Blender's viewport jumps awake and procedural geometry just assembles itself out of thin air, rendering out pristine 3D loops. Step 2. The exact second a render finishes, Comfy UI lights up, processes the video through a custom node graph, and slaps on that neon glitch style. Step 3. The newly stylized video seamlessly drops right into a brand new deck in Resolume Arena, and a custom Resolume wire patch literally builds itself right next to it. It all flows perfectly from raw 3D generation straight to live show ingestion.
And this is the result. 8 minutes and 12 seconds. That is the total elapsed time from hitting enter on your prompt to having a completely custom, multi-layered, stylized, and perfectly organized live show completely ready to go. What used to be a grueling, agonizing weeks' worth of visual prep and rendering is now accomplished in the exact time it takes you to walk over and make a cup of coffee. You can even use this pipeline to act as your own personal library doctor. Check this out. You can tell Claude to audit your entire visual pantry. Say it notices you are missing high-energy 174 BPM loops for a drum and bass set. It will automatically tell Blender to just go generate 12 new procedural tunnels perfectly timed to that tempo. Or if it sees you lack warm orange color stories in your deck, it will actually grab your old loops, run them through Comfy UI with a trendy risograph aesthetic, and drop the fresh files right back into Resolume. The AI literally finds the gaps in your arsenal and goes to the store to render the fixes for you. Insane. Okay, Section 5. What the AI cannot do. All right, let's take a deep breath, slow down the pacing a bit, and bring this back down to reality. To use any tool properly, you absolutely must understand its limits. And it's time for some honest truth here so you don't get burned on stage. The AI is incredibly fast at building things, yes, but it is way, way too slow for frame-perfect live drops. You cannot ask it to trigger a clip right on a massive snare hit. It just won't work. It also cannot build or change your MIDI, OSC, or DMX mappings. It cannot set up complex projection mapping slices in your advanced output. And, crucially, this is the big one, it relies on the internet. If that dingy basement club's Wi-Fi completely dies mid-set, your AI co-pilot dies right along with it. Ultimately, there is a very strict division of labor here that we need to respect. Claude is the assistant. It is there for the boring prep, the incredibly hard shader math, and figuring out exactly why your patch is broken at 2 a.m. the night before a festival. But you are the artist. Your hands stay firmly on the faders, the MIDI controllers, and the live execution during the actual show. You let Claude build the show before you ever walk on stage. Native MIDI is still absolutely king for live execution, and that isn't changing anytime soon. So the crucial point to take away from all of this explainer is actually pretty simple. The hard part of being a visual artist used to be the tedious doing, the coding, the endless sorting, the overnight rendering. But that barrier, it's basically gone now. Now the hard part is purely creative. It is just deciding, what do you actually want to build? I highly challenge you to try just one prompt we talked about today. Experience this entirely new reality for yourself. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on the explainer today. Have a ton of fun building some weird stuff out there, and I'll catch you on the next one.